Hi, it's Natalie and welcome back to my channel. I work with a lot of female coaches, course creators, and consultants, and essentially I help them grow their impact and income. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my best tips for manifestation and creating the type of business and life that you want, as well as specifically 5 things that could be preventing you from being able to actually manifest what you want. If you're a coach, consultant, course creator, or entrepreneur and you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please be sure to do so. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell because I put out new videos just like this one every single Friday. All right, so let's get into today's video and talk more about manifestation and why I think it's a super useful tool for both your business and your life. I've actually personally used it in my own business and life, both intentionally and unintentionally, to create things like 70K months in my business, getting to around 30,000 followers, being able to, I think one time I very purposefully wanted to be able to manifest like $25,000 in a very short amount of time, and I managed to manifest $24,000 in like 4 days, okay, in my business. So I've used it both intentionally, where I was very purposeful, like the example above, and I've also used it in ways where I found out later down the line, because I didn't even used to know what manifestation was, and I didn't even know that I was actually manifesting things into my life, into my business. I would go back later after I learned about what manifestation was, and I was like, wait, I have had periods of my life where I literally journaled about this. And then now it's literally happening. It's what I'm living in my everyday life, okay? And what I found though is that there's a ton of misconceptions around like mindset and manifestation and what it looks like. And it leaves a lot of people feeling very stuck as to why do I keep wanting to have this thing manifest. I keep wanting to be able to grow my business. I keep wanting to be able to, whatever it is, be able to get more followers or be able to do whatever. So why is it not happening? Right? And I found it's usually because of one of 5 mistakes, and I've personally made these myself, right? So I'm super excited to share these with you all so that you can better manifest and what you essentially want to create in your life. So the number one mistake that I see people make is they think that you have to be in this good vibe energy all the time. And if you have any negative emotions, then you're going to bring that into your life. If you ever have any doubtful thoughts, then you're going to bring that into your life. And I 100%, I used to believe this myself. So when I first started learning about manifestation, every single time that I had like negative thoughts, I automatically thought that it meant that I was manifesting bad things into my life and I was bringing them more into my being. And yes, if you do meditate on like the bad things happening, they do tend to pop up and happen, but it's not humanly possible for you to 100% be in good vibes only, nor is that something that you should actually try to do. In fact, trying to be always in good vibes only might actually be what's preventing you from being able to manifest what you want to manifest into your life, right? So really what I would say here is, instead of thinking to yourself, okay, I only have to be in a good energy. Yes, because this whole manifestation thing is built kind of also upon the law of attraction. Like that's one concept within manifestation, but it doesn't mean that negative emotions or negative energy that pops up is a bad thing. In fact, it just usually means that you need to find a tool to actually better release those emotions and that negative energy that's popping up. And usually it's a belief system problem, is that deep down there's something really in your subconscious there that's making it so that these negative emotions keep popping up. Once you learn how to actually use a tool to release that, as well as question your own beliefs, you'll find that not only do you grow as a person because you're working through these problems, but simultaneously you're going to be able to manifest things much faster. Another mistake that a lot of people say that you have to do in order to manifest something into your life, they think that you have to be uber specific. Like, you hear this all the time. You got to be super specific. Like, you should know everything about everything. And what gets people here is they're like, oh my gosh, I need to know every single detail of my life of what I want. So I need to know like what color the walls are and like the blah, blah, blah. And they get really caught up on this. You have to be crazy specific. And quite frankly, you don't have to be crazy specific. Usually it's dependent upon the person. Some people do better when they are more specific, and other people do better when they're less specific and they're concentrating more on like a feeling that they want to create, or just like an overall kind of just hazy overview or idea. All right, now, to find out like which one you are, I'm not going to go into that in this video at all, but I will say that here's what I will say that is true. You do have to have a clear vision. So you do have to know what it is that you actually want. It doesn't mean that you have to know if you're like trying to manifest an apartment. It doesn't mean that you have to know exactly what street it's going to be on and exactly the thing and like all this stuff, unless you really want to do that. But it does mean that you have to have a clear vision. So a clear vision for what you want your business to look like, what you want your life to look like, what you want your life to look like around your business, how many hours you want to be working, how you want to feel in your business, kind of the vision that you're creating in your business, all of that. Because without that, what are we doing, right? Because I see a lot of people, sometimes they have very hazy visions for their business. They're just kind of like, I want to make this much money per month, right? Which is really cool. But simultaneously, without a vision, it's going to be very difficult to continue and execute. If you didn't know, I actually have a free community for female entrepreneurs where we talk about different business things. We also talk about manifestation. I specifically talk about, I think, 2 different times of exactly what I did to manifest different things in my life. So one was when I first started my business, how I manifested my business, how I got it up and running, that sort of thing. And another one is about that example of how I actually manifested $24,000 in just 4 days, right? So if that interests you and you want to be in a community of female entrepreneurs that support each other, right, and you just want to hang out, okay, then go below, click that link and join. I'd love to see you there because it's absolutely 100% free. So we just spoke about vision and the importance of having a vision, right? Because we talked about you don't have to be crazy specific, but you do have to have a vision. So sometimes what I find happens with people is they're like, well, what do you do if you don't really know what you want? Right? And the truth is that I found with a lot of people, they either don't know what they want or they just try to pick something based on what they think other people would find like successful, right? So it's not even of their own creation and design. They're just basically putting together a life based on other things. Or even, for instance, me, I used to make a lot of decisions in my life, quite frankly, around like a very limiting belief system, wherein I was like, well, if I'm not making any money at all, like this would be the best place to live, because, you know, if shit hit the fan, then it's not that expensive there. And so then I would manifest stuff around that. And yeah, I did want to kind of live there because of that. But then I was like, well, this isn't really ultimately what I want for my life. Right? So how do you get clear on actually what you want in your life? So I made a couple of different kind of mindset shifts here. I started thinking to myself, okay, if I had all the money in the world, right? Not that I need all the money in the world, but I'm just starting from a different point of view. Instead of thinking if everything goes wrong, I'm thinking, okay, I already have monetary abundance, right? What would I be doing with my life and what purpose would I want to be serving, right? And so when I started from that point of view, it became very clear what I wanted my life to look like, what I wanted my business to look like, and kind of what I saw myself doing more so in the future. And so when you come from that point of view, you're going to get a lot clearer on what it is you actually want, rather than thinking to yourself, okay, I don't like, you know, maybe I should do this because things don't work out, which is something I used to do literally all the time. Next mistake I see a lot is feeling like if it isn't working immediately and you're not seeing some sort of immediate results, then it must not be working at all, which is 100% false. So there's this concept of divine timing, or you can think of it as, you know, you got to wait on God's timing and God's will and God's plan, or you can think about it like the universe's timing, however you want to think about it, right? You're a co-creator in your life, meaning that you're creating what you want in your life, but you're also part of the universe, part of God's design, which doesn't mean that you can just be like, well, you know, I'd like this now. Okay? And so I see a lot of people do that, and then what happens is they're like, okay, I'm gonna work on manifesting this thing, and then they get really down. This happens so many times with people in business. They're like, okay, I did the things, and then I booked some calls for my business, but then people said no, which must mean that like this isn't working, and like I'm not gonna be able to do this with my business, when that is not it at all. Instead, what it is that you actually need to just reevaluate it and continue taking aligned action. This next mistake is my absolute favorite. So I used to do this all the time. And essentially what I mean is I would think that manifesting means that you could do nothing and that it would somehow just like magically pop up into your sphere. So if you think of the concept, because it's built on this concept of energy. So if you're essentially giving no energy, how are you going to get anything back in return? Okay, this doesn't really make sense, right? Nor does it make sense that if you're not taking any action whatsoever, that you would somehow be able to just have the thing you want just by like wishing it into existence. That's not how it works at all. Like for instance, if you want to start making 70K months in your business, you have to start showing up like the person who makes 70K months. Like you would think that person would show up daily in your business. And once you do that, okay, once you do that, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, now it's like things are moving, things are shifting, things are happening, right? And things will click into being a lot easier for you. Okay, so it's more about taking aligned action, which is a concept I just talked about earlier in the 4th point, rather than thinking to yourself that manifestation is something where you can just wish, you know, right? Like you're, what's that witch from like the 50s, you know, in the show when she wiggles her nose and then it appears, right? That's just not how this works, okay? It's not how this works. You actually do have to take aligned action, and you need to start showing up like that person today, okay? All right, everybody, I hope you really enjoyed this video today. If you are a coach or consultant, or maybe you're an entrepreneur, or maybe you're like, okay, I've got a form of expertise. Maybe you're really good at writing. Maybe you're a realtor. Maybe you love manifestation, you know, something like that. And you want to be able to share your expertise and monetize it, right? And you're curious, how do I go about doing that? Or you're already doing it, but you want to reach the next level in your business. And what I'd invite you to do is we actually do free 15-minute kind of growth plan calls with people if you qualify, okay? You do have to apply for these calls, right? But if that does interest you, you can go below in the description, click that link to book a call with us, and we will keep your appointment on our calendar if you do qualify. All right, everybody, hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and then comment below what type of video you would like me to talk about next.